what's up? What's up? It's Raphael, NBA Draft Junkies, part 3 of Alex Pugh's mock draft. The first 2 have been popular and controversial.
They're not getting enough love. The views supposed to be. They got to give more love.
But you know what the thing is about YouTube is that so it may not look like it has a lot of views. It probably had like 2,000 something views, but people are watching. Like I can look at their watch time and see how long they're watching. So it's not like they're tuning in for 2 minutes and cutting it off. They're staying for like a long period of time, which is, I guess, is good for YouTube in a sense, because all those stupid ads that they're putting up on the screen, people are watching long enough to watch those ads or whatever. So no, but it's been controversial. I think the one with Jalen Harris, the second one, might have more views than the first one. But it's helped because somebody in the comments said that, they didn't know who he was, but then they went back and watched and they were like, he's nice. So, So you gave Jalen Harris a plug.
Oh, for sure. Shout out to Jalen Harris, Dallas, Texas, Duncanville High School, Nevada Hoops, all of the above.
Oh, so you from Houston? It sounds like you repping Dallas. I guess it's one of those things where within the cities it's a rivalry, but on the outside, it's all Texas.
And that's the crazy part about it. Like, I'm from Houston, but since I've been in the grassroots, following hoops, I'm saying? I've always, for some reason or another, that Dallas vibe, man, that Dallas culture, I love it. It's definitely just a different culture, different player.
Yeah, it's a little different than Houston. I don't know Houston's that well, but I don't think Dallas had a team that put out as much talent as that one Houston Hoops team where the whole dang team made it to the NBA.
And see, that's the crazy part about it. On the front end, Dallas be having the players at the high school level seem like they got the dominant players, but on the back end, Houston has more pros.
Do they?
They do. I mean,
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, look into it. When you bust it down, you know what I'm saying? Like even, you know what I'm saying, Alex Caruso, Kelly Oubre.
You count College Station as Houston now?
I mean, that's the closest. That's the closest. He played with the hoops. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not like a Dallas hoops. You know what I'm saying? Like College Station, like ain't no AAU, no like that. So it's like Houston and surrounding areas. You know what I'm saying? But definitely look into it. It's an interesting dynamic. Justin Winslow, Justin Jackson, like it's crazy.
Yeah, all those guys were on that one team.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different subject. But maybe we can do one. Best. What cities put out the best NBA prospects in the last 10 years? And so that could probably draw some local love. But let's get into it. Some of the fans may not care about Texas hoops, especially people from California, because they're going to bring up all their guys and all of that. So let's get into it. We stopped at number 20, so now we're at number 21. You got the Philadelphia 76ers. And who's your choice for the Sixers?
With the 21st pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Tyrell Terry from the University of Stanford.
They'll get mad at you. Stanford University, those.
Right. And I thought about it as I said it, but it was already too late. Definitely right. Stanford University.
So question, had you seen him? Like, did you know about him coming into the season?
Coming into this season? Absolutely not.
Okay,
no.
See, I don't feel bad because I felt like, I keep up with grassroots a little bit. I know more than the average Joe, a lot more than average Joe. But I didn't know who Tyrell Terry was. And then a friend of mine that's an agent, he hit me up, probably like middle of the season. What do you know about this Tyrell Terry kid at Stanford? I'm just like, I should be asking you. He came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I had no clue who he was. It's like similar situation. Someone kind of like, hey, look at this guy. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Stanford, really? Oh, okay, interesting. And from there, that's kind of where it began. But I think I know some people think he should be higher, but I think at this time in the draft, it's he's fall right where he should be, right where he needs to be. Because Philadelphia, he's needed. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, a ball handler, a decision maker, a shot maker. So I think for the Philadelphia 76ers, if they were able to land Terry at this point in the draft, they got to consider themselves big winners because he makes shots at a high level. I mean, can debate it, depending on personal preference, how you feel, whether he's the best shooter in the draft. But I don't really consider him as such, but he's definitely a high level elite shooter. So definitely not a knock at all.
Yeah, I think Philly's a good fit for him. They need another ball handler. They need another shooter. They need someone that can create a little bit. I like him. He's tough. You know, he doesn't look tough. He doesn't pass the eye test. He kind of falls into that lane of like one of these light-skinned dudes that's you know, you underestimate him on the court because he was light. Like he probably only weighed like $160, but he was attacking the paint. And so one of my knocks on some of these other guys like Halliburton, who I mentioned before, is he was light. Even Devin Vassell, he was light, but he wasn't aggressive attacking the rim. While Terry, he was still attacking. He was not afraid of contact. I mean, he was getting knocked around a lot. I mean, there are a lot of times where he finished at the rim, but he ended up on his butt. But he got back up, and then he plays with like this swagger and this confidence that I really like. Now, the shot selection can look bad sometimes because he's so confident, but I kind of like that in him.
Yeah, exactly. He does attack. He scores it from all three levels. Definitely perimeter base. Looking to get to a jump shot. Like even on comparison wise, kind of hard to identify the perfect comparison. I compared him to CJ because I do believe it's going to be a pull up more so than a rim finish. But that's not to say he does not. You know what I'm saying, attack, and he doesn't rim finish because he does find and create opportunities to score it at the rim per se.
Yeah, you definitely. He's kind of unpredictable in a sense. Like you know, the pull up is his main thing, but he'll pull up from deep. He can come off the move. He looks to attack the basket. I like him. I think he's in a good fit either way if he goes in the 20-21 range because that would put him in Miami or Philly. And I think that he could come in and make some noise as a rookie.
For sure.
All right, let's go 22, Denver Nuggets. Denver, you know, playoff team, a little deep. They you wonder if a rookie can come in and crack their rotation, especially at number 22, depending on what they do with Millsaps. But, you know, it's a deep team. It's a team that's looking to compete right away. So who do you think would be a good fit for the Nuggets?
With the 22 pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select Aleksej Pokusevski. Help me out. You're very much well versed than I am.
Pokusevski. Poku. At first, it took me a while. I was calling him AP. When I did a video, AP.
Yeah.
Which is your initials.
But now I haven't taken the European kid from Serbia. I think first off, Denver, they are never afraid to take a gamble on potential. I definitely think this potential is very, very rewarding. Hold
on. Before I cut you off. Well, sorry to cut you off. AP and Bobo.
AP, Bobo, and but that's the thing about the draft. Some teams, you know what I'm saying, like it's all about collecting tradable assets. Who knows? Maybe they draft and stash. Maybe they bring them over. We don't know what their plans might be. But I think it's too much there not to take them. And it does give you an asset if ultimately you choose to flip it, you choose to keep it, flip something else. Like we just said, Paul Millsap, no telling what he's gonna, whether he'll be around, whether he won't be. Maybe they come with the biggest front court the NBA seen in a long time, and then coming off the bench with even more length and size, but in combination with tremendous skill, both shooting, passing, handling, all of the above. But once he puts some weight on, adjusts to the NBA game, I think his offensive skill set combined with his physical gifts, he could be, you know what I'm saying, a real steal this late in the draft.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that, like you said, Denver's not afraid to take a flyer on an international prospect, and not afraid to have a guy that they develop. Like, they don't play him right away. It's interesting though, if you get him and Bo together and they develop, even if one develops, you win. But you got two skilled, skinny 7-footers that can shoot, handle. That would be interesting. So, and then
they'll
Poku is
bulk up
Serbian
conditioning, and they'll put some weight on as they continue to grow, develop, and just their body matures. So I'm anxious to see 4 years from now exactly what does he look like. Because I mean, even when you look at Kristaps Porzingis, from year one to where he is today, his body has made a tremendous jump. It's not always a good thing, because obviously everybody can't take the additional weight. It depends on how fast they put it on, but it's all a progression. And if his body can ultimately hold it, it could be really special long term.
Yeah, because the talent is there. And what makes this pick even more likely to happen, in my opinion, if he's available, is he's also Serbian, and he's from the same country as Jokic. So there's a connection there. He'd have a mentor there, someone that he can speak his native language with. And yeah, I just don't see Denver passing him up if he's available.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
So now we're down to 23, the Utah Jazz.
With the 23rd pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Utah Jazz select Robert Woodard from Mississippi State. I know a lot of people might not know who he is, but when I look at the Jazz roster, overall, they're a pretty finesse team. I think they can use a little bit more ruggedness, a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more pop, a little bit more tenacity. I think Donovan Mitchell, he needs somebody that he can feed off of energy-wise. And I mean, obviously they have Gobert protecting the rim, but they don't really have the athletes that they need. They're a skilled team. Play really well off the pass and shooting, playing in space. But at some point in time, like, you need some guys that can go swinging from that rim like Tarzan and just get out, be rim finishers in transition. And I'm not talking about rim finishing with the finger roll or the layup off the glass. I'm talking, two-hand, very, very intentional with their finishes, like, yeah, that's mine. Just that tenacious ability that not everyone possesses. But Robert, he definitely has the athleticism. Wish he was a better shooter, but one thing about Utah, they pride themselves in development. So I do believe that's something that would be enhanced quickly, and he'll grow. And obviously they play a very free-flowing game where everyone touches it. Everyone is just shared. The ball moves. And I think just him running a DHO or slipping to the rim, he can find a lot of opportunities with his athleticism combined with his ability to put on the deck some and swing from that rim.
You know what? I'm buying him as a shooter. The percentages are there. He shot about 43% from three, but he didn't have a lot of attempts. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely buying him as a shooter. So I think that would be a good choice for Utah. I thought he was going to be like a high second round steal.
And he possibly might slide, but I think it just depends on where you are in the draft. Sometimes it's best to approach your best player available. Sometimes I think you need to address team need. And the athleticism component, the relentlessness, whether on the rebound, I think that could really, really benefit the Jazz long term.
Definitely so. All right, 24 is Milwaukee Bucks. Who do you think would be a good choice for the Milwaukee Bucks?
With the 24th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Desmond Bane.
They need a shooter.
I think they can definitely use the wing, use the shooter. Obviously, he can put on the deck. He can make shots. He can create his own. He can defend multiple positions, kind of 1 through 3. But another kid that's rugged, tough, but has the offensive skill set to really, really have a big-time opportunity and productivity at the NBA level.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that there. I think that he's arguably the best shooter. I mean, I probably would take Nesmith number 1 because, 50% from 3 is tough. But, yeah, I mean, the Bucks need another shooter. Well, I shouldn't say they necessarily need another shooter, but another shooter is always – what's that?
Style of play. It fits their offense. It fits their style of play. But
yeah.
At the same time, it gives them an additional defender.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's a fit for the culture and, just kind of team need.
Yeah, and he's ready to come in and play right away. And then also if you end up getting rid of Bledsoe, you try to make a trade for CP3, that may deplete the roster some. So you may need him to come in and play. Yeah, because I imagine, like, if they trade for, like, CP3, then the kid out of Villanova defense Dante, he'd be in that deal. Yeah, so obviously Bledsoe would be in the deal. But, yeah, I think he's in a good situation. He's going to end up on a playoff team, and he should be able to come in right away, and he has a defined role. Like, what you're getting out of him. You don't have to, like, really develop him. You put him in Milwaukee, he's going to, his gravity is going to provide spacing for Giannis. You put him on, like, Utah, Denver, any of these teams, Boston, that are in this range could use another shooter on the wing. So I think that he's in a really good position to make, like, an all-rookie team as a late first-round pick.
Definitely one of the better two-way guys in this draft, because I think his impact defensively in combination with his impact offensively, like it's this late in the draft, you got to call it a steal, even though you probably shouldn't, because it's some value taken prior to. It's just the way the cookie crumbles, but it's definitely a really good get, whoever ultimately decides to take him.
All right, number 25, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
With the 25th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Oklahoma Thunder select Malachi Flynn.
That'd be a good pick. Yeah, like he's kind of like one of these guys that he's becoming like a favorite. Like he's moving up a lot of people's draft boards, and he's I've seen him as high as 20. I think somebody had him going to Miami.
Okay.
And what do you like about Flynn? Yeah, definitely a good fit.
About Flynn, I mean, ultimately he makes shots. He's seasoned. He has experience. He operates beautifully out the pick and roll, making the reads, delivering, proper, willing and able passer. Obviously, he can deliver the ball. But just his confidence with the ball in his hands, playing off ball, he can just kind of do so much. And I think paired beside Shai Alexander could be a match made in heaven, just because, I mean, this guy can really, really shoot the laces off the basketball. And like I said, he can play on ball, he can play off ball. But just in this modern NBA, his ability to play with the ball in his hands, but ultimately space the floor. At this point, the value is like it's hard to even put in words, but that would be a unbelievable get for the Thunder.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have Dennis Schroeder. He's not just a knockdown shooter. Obviously, he's much improved. Definitely not a knock. But Malachi Flynn, he can come in and would be a real spark plug off your bench ultimately.
Yeah, I think Schroeder's out of their plans because I know he's a free agent. Next season, he's due to make 15 this next season coming up, and I doubt if they want to extend him and pay him, $20 million for, however long he signs for. So I don't think that they're willing to give him a raise. So I could see him being packaged for something, picks or young players. And then I definitely think a team could use Dennis off the bench. And so it's weird though, because we don't know their coach. We don't know anything right now other than CP3 is talked about being on the move and they're rebuilding. And Billy Donovan must have known, I'm not about to sit here and rebuild. So he got out of there.
See, that's a funky situation. Like I'm still confused in regards to why they ultimately didn't want to re-sign.
I thought they did. I thought it was up to him.
So it was his decision.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like he knew they overachieved this past year. He didn't want to be in for a rebuild. His stock was high because he got a chance to really coach.
Anyway.
What's that?
He's in a rebuilding situation anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, Chicago has more talent than the Thunder, and you're closer to competing in the East than the West again. And plus, I just figure like he'll get a chance. Like we never really got a chance to see what type of offense he ran till this year. Before it was Westbrook is going to run Westbrook's offense. And so only thing I can say that he did different to me was let Westbrook get the rebounds and then allow him to, push. And then I felt like the Thunder never really gave him shooters. And so, not Billy Donovan, Sam Presti likes having guys that are long and can defend, but that don't really space the floor. So I just felt like if I'm Donovan, I looked at it like, all right, everybody's talking about how great a job I did. We weren't expected to compete. My stock is high. Let me get out of here and let me go to a new team that if I do the same thing with them, then I look like a genius coach because Chicago has talent. They got pieces.
Yeah.
They just got to get healthy.
I definitely believe he's a good coach. It was definitely good to see him be able to implement his offense. And ultimately, I mean, he had Chris Paul. Chris Paul's the ultimate leader. I've never just been a big Chris Paul guy, but I can honestly say this season, he definitely earned my respect.
Yep, same here. All right, 26 Boston Celtics. This is their second pick in the first round. The first one you had them taking Jalen Harris, which was pretty controversial. So who you got them taking next?
With the 26th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, after the Boston Celtics selecting Isaac Okoro.
Oh. So I forgot that he was still on the board. So
still on the board.
I know this answer, but I'm still ask anyway. Why is he so low on your board?
I don't value athleticism as much as others. I like it. I love athleticism, but ultimately, I want a skill set. I want shot makers. I want guys. I mean, because Isaac he's a position wise, he's a 3, damn near a 4-3. I know some people view him as a 2. I mean, measurement wise, he measures out as a 2. But he's a forward. He's not a guard. He's a forward. I do believe he can help a franchise defensively, create possessions, get out in transition, rim finish. But ultimately, in this modern NBA, if you can't make shots, how much value do you truly hold? I don't know the perfect comparison, but everyone thought Stanley Johnson was going to come into the league and be a big producer. And he's been on the bench on two different teams. Hasn't been able to really see significant minutes. And all of that is due to his ability or lack thereof to make shots.
Yeah.
So depending on Isaac's ability to evolve as a shooter, he's a piece. He's a complimentary piece, a glue guy, a hustle guy, but that doesn't warrant Lotto, in my opinion. That's just kind of where I stand in regards to Okoro.
I can see that. And it's funny about Stanley Johnson, Detroit, New Orleans, and Toronto. Like, people forget he was with the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that he might get one more shot. I don't know what his contract situation is like, but I think that he's probably like at the point where he'll get camp deals or non-guaranteed deals, something that allows a team to give him a shot and then not really have any financial commitment to him. But yeah, he's close. He's close to being out. He's close to.
Oh, sure. Like, I think he's on his way. He's halfway to Europe already.
I think he's a China player, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm just speaking as far as
out the league.
headed overseas. You know what I'm saying? Like, not really sure exactly where he best fits overseas, but I mean, yeah. But Okoro, I hope a lot of people love him. I know some people that really love him. They think I'm hating. They think he's gonna maximize his potential, and I truly hope he does. But I think potential get you fired. Give me the for sure. I want to know and wholeheartedly believe in what I'm drafting. And as far as what do I believe, you're drafting a defender. But once again, I don't need to say where I stand when it comes to defense. I'm taking the bucket, and I know he played on the EYBL. I know he made some shots, but I think when he's scoring the ball his best, he's at the rim, and ultimately he probably has to turn his back and kind of overpower you a little bit, but he doesn't have tremendous length, doesn't have, the measurables that warrants Lotto in my mind.
That's fair. I've seen him as high as 5 or 6. I think potential, what he can bring on the defensive end of the floor, I think he's a pretty good passer, and I think he's somewhat of a good playmaker. I don't know if I would say he would be my secondary playmaker, but I think that he can make plays for others if needed. I think you can put him in ball screens, but everything is dependent on him improving as a shooter. And one of the things I've been mentioning on previous podcasts is not only does he have to become a better shooter, he has to become a confident shooter. Like, I saw plenty of times where he was open and he would drive into the lane and pick up a charge, or he would, throw a bomb to a teammate that was covered so he didn't have to shoot. I know there's one play where I remember he caught it. The next defender was in the paint and he was behind the 3-point line. And he hesitated, but he only shot it because there wasn't any other option. And it just seems like he didn't have any confidence. And in my opinion, he has to come back a much better shooter. I mean, he's been off since March. The season is probably not going to start to January at the earliest. That's a lot of time to work on your game. Now, and it may be, people may say I'm crazy for this because they say, he's so young and there's plenty of time. But I feel like if a guy did not improve tremendously as a shooter this offseason, then it's 2 things I'm worried about: work ethic, or maybe he doesn't have the touch. Because what is there to do? What is there to do from March till now?
He should have been form shooting from the moment his season was over. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of working on his high release, working on his touch, over exaggerating the use of his legs. Because once again, man, shooting is so valued in today's game that ultimately, if you can't make shots, like we've seen this before, A lot of guys was in love with Lonnie Walker's athleticism. How has that worked out? You know, I said Stanley Johnson earlier. It's just like, it is what it is, man. If you can't shoot and you can't create space and consistently knock down shots, it's hard to put you on the floor.
Yeah, or if you can't fill a role. Like if you're a good one-on-one player, but you're not that good enough to where a team is going to feel comfortable giving you the keys, then you have to be able to knock down open shots and be a complementary player. You got to fill a role. And so I think that's what kind of helps Okoro in a sense, is that he does have a role as a defender. And now you just have to work on the shooting, which some people say shooting is the easiest thing to fix.
It is, but it's not. But that's, if you see where I have him slotted, Boston likes those type of guys, tough, rugged, big frame, big chest, physical. That's those characteristics. If you look at Boston's roster, whether it's Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, Jaylen Brown, what's the kid from Duke that played at SMU briefly?
Semi Ojeleye.
Semi Ojeleye, you know what I'm saying? So it's like Boston, I mean, and a lot of teams like Okoro, I just don't have him as high as others because I don't value what he brings. Nothing more, nothing less.
All right, let's go to a tough pick, New York Knicks, number 27.
With the 27th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Josh Green out of the University of Arizona.
So why do you think Josh Green would be a good fit there?
It's not even about the fit. I think it's about at this point in the draft, the potential that he brings. He could do a lot, a master of nothing, but he can dribble, shoot, pass it a little bit, super athletic. I think his development would really, really, under Tibbs, who obviously has what's the word? He's known for, I guess, development or overworking, but overworking can't be a bad thing for a rookie because they need as much time as possible in the gym. So I think he would grow as a player, and he has the tools that in 3 years you can look up and you could be saying he should have been a lottery pick, and like it's legit. Like he definitely has the measurables, he has the athleticism, enough skill. Uncertain in regards to where he stands in regards to his wheel set, but I do believe at this point in the draft, it's a really, really good get.
Yeah, he's the guy.
He's one of the guys I would love to see him get with the Raptors, like we said last week, just their development. But Tibbs he's a development guy as well. We see what he did for Jimmy Butler early in his career. So I do believe he would develop and he would grow as a player.
Yeah, I think on my first mock draft, I had him fall into the Raptors just because the way that, the cookie crumbled and the way the chips fell. I thought that would have been a steal for them. He was a top 10 player, top 7 coming out of high school. I think that he was dominant on the high school level because he was just physically stronger, athletic. He's skilled. I think ultimately he ends up being like a 3-and-D guy. I don't think he has a lot of offensive creativity. He shows flashes from time to time, but I don't think he's a guy you can just, all right, end of the shot clock, we got 5 seconds left, go out and get us a bucket. But,
I don't know. If he can get his spot and raise up, if he can just like ultimately in the league, like just get to a spot and elevate.
Yeah, it would be basic. It wouldn't be like, he got it on a string and you don't, he dancing with it. So, I think, if that's, to me, Kawhi is a bad comparison, even though Kawhi lately showing that he got a little, he got a little handle.
He get credit for.
But his thing is he just gets to his spot. 1-2 dribble. He's so strong that you can't bump him off of his spot, and he's going to get there. He's going to elevate. So if Josh Green can develop that in his game, then he won't need to be shifty and creative. but it just comes down to, are you strong? Is your ball handling good enough to get to where you need to go? And you're strong enough to nobody can stop you from getting to your spots? And is your pull-up game that lethal to where, you don't need to be super creative? Because, like, I'm a Cameron fan, and, he had a line about Andre Miller saying Andre Miller got a basic game. So, Andre Miller was one of my favorite players. His game was super basic. Right.
Nice.
Right.
Everyone else getting these head coaching jobs. I would love to see Andre Miller man the sideline one day. I think he got a lot to give. Yeah, I just like I'm a big fan of Andre Miller.
Yeah, me too. Funny Andre Miller story. I was living in LA and I went to some pool party, and I knew he was from like South Central, but when I went to that pool party, I knew he was from South Central. He had on like Dickies, Chucks, the tube socks pulled up. And I talked to him briefly, and he said something like during the off season, he does not work out. He's like, he doesn't eat good. He eats barbecue. He don't hoop. He don't do anything in the off season. But he played like, I don't know, 18 years or something like that, all on the ground.
A lot of guys are like that. It's a gift and a curse. Some people can control it to a certain degree. But I have heard some guys just want to get away from hoop, and I totally get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the NBA is tough. The travel, the rigors of playing every other night, pain on your body. Like, yeah, all season, I think you got to get away, debrief a little bit, but same time, just don't come back out of shape.
Yeah, it's so competitive now because even though your money's guaranteed, guys aren't really taking too much time off. Like, I was just, saw a video where like LeBron was working out, or, so yeah, it's so competitive now because, I remember back in the day, they said you could use training camp to get into shape. Now you got to be in shape for the pre-training camp, unofficial, OTAs. You got to be in game shape. So, yeah, Andre Miller was a unique situation. But moving on to 28, it's the LA Lakers, 28th pick. Who do you think would be a good fit for them?
In the 2020 NBA draft, the LA Lakers select Cassius Winston out of Michigan State University.
I'm a big Winston fan. I think that everybody's sleeping on him because he don't pass the eye test. He not jumping over people. His body don't look like it's cut up. He got game. He's gonna be a steal.
He got game, like game, like getting his own, creating for others. Obviously, that Michigan State pedigree speaks for itself. You know what you're getting when you get a Michigan State guy. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna play together, and ultimately, they're gonna be able to deliver in big time moments. Obviously, the Lakers, no telling what takes place with Rondo. They're gonna need another point guard, and I think Cassius, with his, once again, ability, willing and able passer. Obviously, the NBA spacing creates a different level of creativity and opportunity, but I think his ability to score the basketball, shoot the basketball, and create scoring opportunities for others out of the pick and roll, which is very, very dominant in today's NBA. I think regardless of what you don't like about him, he has success, especially if on the right team with the right players beside him. I like Cassius Winston a lot. Bulldog, selfless, winner.
Yeah, definitely. Detroit tough. 4 years. I mean, I guess that kind of hurts him in a sense as far as like the draft, but he shot over 40% from his career from three. And the sample size is legit. It's not like it was 1 year. It was 4 years. He can shoot off the move. He can run action plays for him. He got the pull up. He's what I call hood. He got hood fundamentals. Like, he's got the street game where, he's got the sauce in his game, but at the same time, he's still fundamentally sound, and he's been able to combine both of them. Like, very rarely, and I mean, I'm sure you can respect this. there's guys that you watch their game and like, okay, this guy's game was built with a trainer in a lab, dribbling around chairs. He never played 21. He never like went outside and hooped on concrete. It's just since day one, he was tall. Somebody invested in him, and all he did was train. Yeah. So Cassius Winston seems like he has the perfect combination of he played 21 or whatever they play up there, 32. He got the street game. He know how to use his get physical. He's got all of that, but then again, at the same time, he's got all the fundamentals. He knows how to shoot off the catch. He's got the footwork. It's like, to me, the perfect combination of both. And I think he's going to be a steal. I mean, I got him going to the Knicks at number 27. I think that he's going to have a long NBA career. I think some of the guards are going to be drafted ahead of him, probably going to fizzle out, but they'll be drafted ahead because they have more, upside, or they're younger and they're, they got the measurables, this and that. But I think when it comes down to playing ball, because he can hoop and he can play basketball. So, and a lot of people don't know the difference. If you don't know the difference, then, you gotta, you'll figure it out. And I think he can play. Go ahead.
No, I said they got to do their research, study the game a little more, but it's definitely a difference in player, especially mentally versus when looking at a guy that's been skill trained with cones his entire life versus a guy who got it out the mud playing pickup, couldn't afford a trainer, different level of hunger, different level of tenacity, got the war wounds to show for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the main things when I talk to these young guys nowadays. I'm looking for war wounds, because a lot of guys in this new modern era, they didn't play at the park. If it wasn't a hardwood floor, they wasn't about that action.
Yeah, well, I train guys, so I get it, but I think you need both. You need to work on your outside shooting with your trainer, but then go outside, hoop with some grown-ups, learn that creativity, because there's some things that you're not going to learn with a trainer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can work on those drills, and we've all seen kids, they worked on Euro steps, they worked on all that, but it's not instinctive. It's premeditated Euro step. And so, like I said, Cassius Winston has that balance of that hood game where, he's been outside, he's been bumped around a little bit, but like I said, he's really fundamental. All right, so let's move on to number 29. We've got 2 picks left. Toronto Raptors.
With the 29th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors select Jahmi'Us Ramsey out of the University of Texas Tech.
So what do you think about Texas Tech players? All right, think about the last 2 guys that were drafted in the first round from Texas Tech. So you got Zaire, who's been injured, but to me, he did not look good even in the G League. And then
he left too early. He wasn't ready.
I think he left at the right time.
He definitely he strike while the iron is hot. Take that multi-million-dollar internship. Totally get it. Totally agree. But he wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? He came out as a forward, but he was supposed to be a guard. Yeah. But when can't play out the pick and roll, can't make shots, you're not a guard. You know what I'm saying? And then Culver hung jury on Culver. I'm gonna give him another year.
Yeah, he deserves another year. The free throw shooting concerned me. It was like 46% from the free throw line. I don't like that from my center. I definitely don't want a guard shooting 46%, because that means he's not gonna want to go to the rack. And unless he got a sniper, which, if you got a sniper, then you're not shooting 46% from 3. So now I just don't think you're going to be effective, because you're not going to want to go to the rack, and you're probably not a good shooter. So now you're not going to be confident on the offensive end of the floor. And I don't know, 46, like I said, 46% from the free throw line.
Very alarming.
Yeah.
And I don't want to throw Jahmi'Us in that box. I think he has a deeper bag than both of those guys, especially offensively. He might not have the measurables, but he's a tough kid, and he's a competitive kid, and he can shoot the ball. I think his handle has to improve, but he's physical, he's relentless, he's athletic, and I think if ultimately he was to be selected by the Raptors, he could be a good immediate and long-term piece, because like we've been saying since we've been recording, they are one of the few teams that do a really good job developing their guys. And I don't know if he's ultimately viewed or slotted as a starter long-term. I think ultimately I would prefer him as a off-the-bench piece, as a spark plug. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to compete. He's going to defend. He's going to make shots on the catch and shoot. He's going to create his off the bounce. I look forward to seeing what he can do with the NBA spacing. I do believe it's something that could benefit him in his game. But I think at this point in the draft, with the Toronto Raptors at the 29th pick, that could be a really good get for that team.
Yeah, what's interesting about that, going back to what I said about the two guys from Texas Tech that were drafted in the previous years, they were drafted higher than where Ramsey's projected to go, which makes it weird for me because Ramsey was a lot better than Zaire Smith. Skill-wise, Zaire had some amazing dunks, and I think he shot a pretty good percentage from three, but it was on a low volume of attempts. And, Philly fell for the okie doke. They drafted him. I mean, I guess we haven't really seen, but like I said, in the G League with Delaware, he didn't look like he was a first-round pick. At all. And then Culver, I was high. I thought Culver was a top 10 pick last year. I thought you did not?
I did not. I just it wasn't enough. Like I'm big on confidence. I'm big on guys' ability to score. And watching Culver, I know he scored it. I know he scored it at big moments per se. But he was on a roster that really didn't have anyone else, So I think it was just kind of a perfect situation for him. But I didn't get the vibe that is who he was. Yeah. Obviously, he's a ball handler, and he can operate out the pick and roll. But similarly to LaMelo, I'm not comparing him to LaMelo at all, but I'm saying, like, how much is being able to facilitate the ball truly worth? Like, is that really what we're drafting in the lottery? Guys that can pass at a high level? I don't want that. Give me the guy that can score it at a high level. I won't finish.
I think with him, I thought he scored at a high level last year. He didn't shoot it he wasn't efficient from three. And then when he got to the NBA, and I can't say I watched a lot of his film in the NBA, but he had to play off the ball some, and he wasn't able to get that same rhythm that he had at Texas Tech. And he can't really play off the ball, in my opinion. Exactly. I think he needs the ball in his hands to be effective. And like I say, he shot like 29% from three this year.
Yeah.
And Minnesota's in position to draft another wing, which it could be a tough spot for him if they re-sign Beasley and they draft Edwards. Then, it would seem like he was a sixth pick. Didn't they trade up for him? Or I thought there was some trade with – maybe they traded down. I don't know. I thought it was a trade with Phoenix and Minnesota last year in the Cam Johnson deal. I could be wrong. But, yeah, if they made a trade for Beasley, which he played well. He looks like, he's going to get an extension there. And you draft Edwards, then Culver, it's like they gave him 1 year. And, you got to fill your role as off the bench. So, interesting there. And it's not considered a strong draft, though. That's what, last year was considered a strong draft in a sense. And he went number 6. This is considered a weak draft. And I wonder if
he got to the championship, though. Like,
yeah, that's true.
The more you win, you know what I'm saying, that stage, you know what I'm saying, it just continues to magnify.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think he was one of the beneficiaries of playing late. Obviously you kind of write your own narrative.
Yep. All right. Last pick, number 30, Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics. With the 30th pick in the NBA draft, I have the Celtics selecting Daniel Oturu from the University of Minnesota.
I like him.
I think they definitely need once again, it's the third pick in the first round. I think they fill every need across the board. They got a guard, they got a forward. Now they come back and they get a center. A guy that very, very impressive defensively. High level rebounder, high level athlete. I think at this slot in the draft, the value he returns is, second to none.
Yeah, and I think he has potential to be a shooter. I think they can develop him into somewhat of a reliable floor spacer.
I agree. But I definitely, what I'm saying, like when you have 3 picks in the first round, man, you just
gamble.
You gotta be selective. But with the 30th, woo! If they were able to get him this late, they hit it out the park, to say the least.
Yeah, I think this is where he's projected to go, and but yeah, I think that would be a good draft. They people may feel like the Harris pick was a reach, but
for sure, I get that ultimately everyone values it differently. I don't even need to continue to beat on that horse.
Yeah,
it's assets, man. And if you don't understand what an asset is, if you don't understand how the league works in regards to building a championship roster, you have to collect assets and you have to flip them at the right opportunity.
I agree. All right, man. This was part 3 of a 3-part series. Thank you for coming on. We've been recording kind of late, and so I thank you for, agreeing to come on so late in the evening. And so yeah, just the feedback has been interesting. The dialogue has been good. You've added a little spark to my podcast. Add a little flavor to it. Whether people hate your takes or like them, they're tuning in and they're watching, and it's been fun. So I definitely want to do more. We'll have to talk offline about another series that we can do, since we're about maybe 28 days away from the draft. So I definitely want to have you on before then. So once again, it's Raphael and my guy Alex. Get him your Twitter address, your Twitter information again.
You can find me on Twitter at Moneyball_AP. Moneyball_AP. That's Twitter, that's IG, that's all of the above. That's just kind of the my alter ego per se. Moneyball, man.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's this book right here. That's the Moneyball book. Yeah, I watched the movie and read the book. So yeah, I didn't know that's where your name came from, but I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. So, all right, man. Thanks again for coming on. It's Raphael with my guy Alex. This is part 3. If you missed the first one or the second one, go to my YouTube. I guess you would scroll down. You'll see he had Obi Toppin #1 on the first episode. The second episode, he threw the biggest shocker so far, with Boston taking Jalen Harris in the lottery. So he's got some unique takes. You love basketball. You love his takes. Even if you disagree, he does a very good job of explaining why he thinks this player should be taken at this spot. So once again, watch all 3 episodes, click, subscribe, comment, like, whatever. He likes to read the comments. I'll get back to you. So, just keep up the dialogue. So once again, Alex, thank you for coming on. It's Raphael, NBA Draft Junkies, and I'm out.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.